midst of a 15-game homestand, the Rainbow Wahine softball team is hosting this weekend's four-team, four-day Malihini Kipa Aloha tournament. Hawaii's offense has been bolstered by the addition of Maui High graduate Navai Kaupe, who leads the Rainbow Wahine with 6 home runs and an .804 slugging percentage. Coming up in game 1 of a doubleheader, the Nevada Wolfpack take on the Hawaii Rainbow Wahine. And a very pleasant good evening from a windy but sunny Rainbow Wahine softball stadium in Manoa, where today the Rainbow Wahine play 2. But first up for Hawaii, it's the Wolfpack of Nevada. Hi everybody, Scott Robbs, Lori Santi. Hawaii checks in at 8-9 on the year. The offense has been as good as ever, but it's been the pitching that has been the problem to this point. We talked to Bob Coolin earlier this week about that.
Dino seems to be the number one, and Murphy is making a pitch for that, and those are 2 sophomore pitchers that I had high hopes for, and those are the 2 that have started well for us. After that, we brought in Jetta Nanning, who came into the game the other day against Portland State and held them down, and she got the win, her first win after coming off an injury and not playing up until that point.
Well, we've seen the pitching actually do pretty well recently. Last night, Ashley Murphy pitched well against Oregon State in a 2-1 loss. And in today's first game, we're going to see the sophomore Izzy Dino.
You know, Izzy Dino, I think both of these pitchers, both of these sophomores really vying for that ace spot, as Bob Coolin said. Dino, much different. Murph, sort of a compact, throws some gas. Izzy Dino, a little bit longer, maybe a little more movement on her pitch. Been up and down. Her best outing, she lost 2-1 against Iowa in a big game. She threw really well. So I think when they solidify that pitching circle, those 2 are going to probably come out on top. We might see the lefty Emily Clean, or maybe, you know, we'll see some of the younger pitchers maybe. But 23 home runs on the year, so the hitting is there, much to the happiness of Bob Coolin.
And hitting .303 as a team should be a good one. Hawaii, Nevada. If every game so far is an indication, this should be a close one. And then later on, it's Oregon State. We'll take a break. When we come back, the starting lineups and first pitch. And welcome back to Manoa. Time now for the Hawaiian Financial FCU batting order. In the top 3 in the order, Sinini, McAllister, and Mello, the cleanup hitter. The local product out of Lele Hua, Ashley Salausa, followed by Tausinga and Gutierrez. Bomb third for the Wolfpack, McClendon, Berta, and Lou. Hawaii defensively in the outfield from left to right, Soma, Rossi, Gandia, Mack. At third, it's Ramos, the shortstop, Kaupe, Nakamura at second, Heen at first, and behind the plate, it's Kali'i Noi. And we'll see Izzy Dino in the circle. The sophomore out of Canada checks in with a 3-4 mark on the year. So Hawaii checking in at 8-9 on the year. Nevada at 6-10, though they're 2-0 here in this tournament. And there you see the numbers for Dino. 9 starts, 3.86 ERA, 22 strikeouts, 9 walks in 45 and a third innings. But opponents hitting over 300 this year against Dino, Lori.
Yeah, trying to settle in a little bit. Also, you have to remember Kali'i Noi behind the dish. They've got a freshman catcher calling her own game. So we see this often at the beginnings of the seasons, especially with young catchers for this program. And I think it's more, as much of a battery thing as it is just a pitching thing. So both of them getting better. And this infield somewhat solidified. We talked about Navai Kaupe, Maui High School grad, coming back from UW, from the University of Washington after a couple seasons.
There's a ground ball to second. Nakamura, the backhand, the throw to first will not be in time. So let's take a look at our umpiring crew. There's John Park behind the plate. You know John quite well. Over at first base, Charles Yarrow. And over at third, Paul Barrio. So those are our 3 umpires for this afternoon's contest. Hawaii and Nevada, they'll roll it an infield single for Sinini.
It's Maya Nakamura at second base, freshman from Roosevelt High School.
Sacrifice attempt, or bunt attempt. And a strike called.
That's kind of one of the other things that's been a little bit of the thorn in the side of this group is Dino not a great fielding pitcher. So a lot of stuff that's been hit up the middle like that, you know, tough plays up the middle.
So Daria McAllister, the player at the plate, all Mountain West Conference selection a year ago. And she swings that time, hits it foul a year ago. Hit .361, played and started in every game with 6 home runs, 30 RBIs, and she led the team in stolen bases with 11. So she's a real deal at the plate.
Have a fair amount of lefties in this lineup, too, does Josh Taylor, the head coach for Nevada.
You're talking about Dino and her defensive abilities. Ball hit to second, could be 2. They go to second for 1. The relay to first, not in time. Wow. Looked pretty close from here. So 4-6, the force out of the lead runner for out number 1, and safe at first on a fielder's choice is McAllister. Lori, you call it.
It's these two good. Nakamura gets a 2-hopper. Calpe came off that pretty nice. Looked like that was a missed call right there.
I would have to say I agree with you, Lori.
Tough one. I think most people thought that, even in, you know, the umpires in the stands, as we all are. But it's a nice turn by that middle infield.
Sierra Mello, the batter, the second baseman. Well, you know, baseball, when there's televised baseball games, they have instant replay.
Yeah, they're doing that in some of the conferences. Some of the Big Ten, I believe, is starting to use technology a little bit. Of course, one of the big things this season in 2020 is they've changed the pitching rule.
Shot foul at the plate.
So college pitchers now allowed to start with their back foot off of the rubber, establish that spot, as opposed to having to touch it with both feet. And in high school, you could actually relocate that back foot, step back and forward. In college, you have to establish it. You can rock back on it, but you can't move it. But it can start off the pitching rubber. Dino's still on. These guys all grew up with 2 feet on. And so it's been sort of interesting banter around the country about that, but it should be a little bit of an advantage for the pitchers, a little bit more balanced position. Got some big feet out there, you know.
There's a ball lined into right field. It's a base hit. On her way to third is McAllister to throw. Gets there late, and it's a single to right field for Mello. And runners at the corners with only 1 away.
Mello laces this to Gandia Mack in right field. Nice throw to third, but on her horse, McAllister, just that little lockout front foot, very patient piece of hitting.
Well, earlier today in the noon game Nevada played, they beat Seattle. And so they have a little game experience on the day. This is the first game of 2 for Hawaii a little bit later on. Of course, Hawaii will take on Oregon State. So 2 aboard, 1 away. And Ashley Salausa out of Lelehua High School, the batter.
I watched Ashley quite a bit in high school, did a lot of her games, and she hit a couple bombs out of here in one outing, the state tournament. One was a grand slam, one was a solo shot. She had a double off the wall yesterday. Really, really fun kid to watch.
A couple of home runs on the year, 12 RBIs, hitting .304 Salausa.
Really excited. All her relatives out here to watch her play. She's played outfield most of her career, did at Lelehua as well.
First time her family's seen her play, period, in college.
Yeah.
One fouled up and out of play. Well, you're talking about Izzy Dino, and we saw a year ago where she struggled defensively from the circle. And that hindered her at times. Hitchcock was so good defensively.
Yeah, you lose a Hitchcock and a Lopez.
Yeah.
You know, those are big. You know, Brittany Hitchcock here for basically 6 years and had 20 wins. Yeah.
Ball hit on the left side, backhanded by Calpe. The long throw to first, unable to hold on to it is Heen, but the run at third stays there. So it'll probably be ruled an infield single, and the bases will be loaded with 1 away.
Well, that's a great job by Calpe just to make a play out of that at first base. Cooling with a little bit of concern. Nice pick on the backhand side. Goes the 1-hop, and Kelly Heen just can't quite pick it. A little bit of trouble here for Dino in the first.
Nelly Tausinga, the third baseman, now the batter. And she looks at a pitch a bit high and outside. Tausinga, a senior out of Sacramento.
Yeah, she can load it up pretty well. This middle of this 4-5 spot between Salausa and Tausinga, they can swing it.
Has 4 home runs on the year. That one is down for a strike from Dino. So a little bit of trouble here early in this one for Izzy Dino. Bases loaded, one away.
Sort of missed double play call coming into play here early too, Scotty.
I agree. A 1-1. Chop foul. Like the Hawaii unis, the retro unis.
Yeah, my favorites. They wore white last night as well and had some black pants on, so they've been rocking the whites this weekend. But these are great. There's just this, right? For anybody who's watched, watched sports for 30 years, that's one of your favorite unis is when the rainbow stripes come out.
Ball fouled off again. Just saw Josh Taylor in his 4th season at the helm of the Wolfpack of Nevada. And in the preseason poll, Nevada picked to finish 6th in the Mountain West Conference. Of course, these two were members of the WAC for a number of years.
Yeah.
And faced off.
Josh Taylor, baseball player at University of Nevada, Reno, so he's home.
1-2 pitch. Inside and low.
Outfield deep, a lot of room. The infield pulled in with one out.
And we do have to keep in mind the wind has been whipping here today. I mean, it's really strong, and it's blowing across the field from right to left. So if you get one up in the jet stream, forget about it. Now roped right over Bob Coolin at third base. Coolin, what is he now, 16 years old? I'm sorry, Taylor.
Yeah. You know, we were just talking about the coaching box. It's rare that you see people stand anywhere near that. Like, we'll see Laura Berg. Most of the coaches stand past the bag for just that reason. Josh Taylor almost got his hat taken off, almost got his leg taken off right there.
I was going to say, Coolin moved pretty well for his age, but Taylor quite a bit younger, and he does move well. There's a ground ball to short. They come home for the force, no relay throw, but they get the lead runner McAllister at home. 6-2 for the second out, and over at first base on a fielder's choice is Tausinga. Good job by Kaupe at short.
Yeah, she's had a lot of action. Touched 3 balls here so far. Kind of nice. It's just real solidified in that shortstop area. You know, we've seen that kind of back and forth in this program for quite a few years, and Kaupe, I think, will stay there.
Ron Gutierrez, the batter now. Looks at a pitch outside. Well, Cheeks Ramos, who's over at third base as a freshman, was the starting shortstop for Hawaii.
And played quite a bit there last. I mean, Cheeks can play anywhere. That's the beauty. But she has been playing a really good third base, good connection on that left side of the infield.
1-0.
This may be the best infield, knock on wood, that we've seen actually in quite a few years. And I think Rachel Saborn will vie for that second base spot along with Nakamura. But Nakamura, a shortstop at Roosevelt, shortstop her whole life, making the move to second. Callie Heen at first. You know, I feel like it's a pretty solid group.
Well, they got off to a poor start.
Yeah, they did.
They had 11 errors in the first 3 games. Their fielding percentage coming into this one is .946, which is not very good. Ground ball up the middle. It's a base hit. It will score 1 run. The throw, did they get the tag? Did they do? So Mello scores, but thrown out at home is Salausa. So Nevada strikes first. Hawaii coming to bat. Athletics.com. Click on the tickets button to print your tickets. Avoid the lines by going online. 6-1 Hawaii here in the top of the second inning. 6 runs, 5 hits, no errors. Hawaii a run on 4 hits and 1 error for Nevada. And we'll see what the Wolfpack can do here. As the bottom third of the order, McClendon, Berta, and Lou will come in to face Izzy Dino. Dino, a bit of a rocky first inning. You see a Wolfpack fan, looks like a local guy.
Nice to have a 5-run spot here, though. Her teammates taking care of her in that first inning, putting up 6 runs.
And the first pitch fouled off. McClendon, 6'1" freshman out of Antelope, California. Good size.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching Oregon State play. Of course, Laura Berg, the most decorated softball player in the history of softball, right? Did center fielder for 4 Olympic teams, basically. The coach at Oregon State, she looks tiny compared to these players. I mean, she was small, slapping, fast center fielder, but I was thinking about that, some big, big players out here. Izzy Dino with, of course, the mask that we saw her play with last year. A lot of the younger pitchers coming up. have to wear those. And
well, she looks a little intimidating. Not only the mask, but
glasses,
she has the shades on as well. Might have to nickname her Izzy the Terminator, Dino. By the way, McClendon hitting .268, no home runs. And the 1-2 slow roller out to short. Calpe to first in plenty of time, 6-3. They'll put out a McClendon one down here in the top of the second inning. And it brings up Haley Berta, the catcher.
Calpe's been so smooth. You see the good hands here. It looks like she almost hesitated on the swing there and stood still and just has those soft hands, takes it right to the center. And Dino gets a lot of ground balls. She's a drop ball pitcher. So Brittany Hitchcock was the same way last season. You need your middle infielders to be able to make plays.
Berta hitting a .159 this year. Does have a home run and 2 RBIs. Senior out of Riverside.
Had the walk-off home run against Seattle in the earlier game, 3-2. So had a pretty nice day.
So far, right?
Yeah.
Wolfpack 2-0 in this tournament. Hawaii 0-1. They only played last night, falling 2-1 against Oregon State. Those two will face off after this one again. Slow roller. Calpe charges, better quickly get the throw. She does over the first.
Came a long way for that and had to. Throwing off her front foot. So showing you all the tools, all the different ways. She's already had to show that. You see the gun on her, though. That's really the thing that she just has enough, puts enough on it. Rarely that you're able to get an infield ground ball single with Calpe over there.
Big swing and a miss by Danielle Liu. Designated hitter.
Yeah, she was the big hero. Had a pinch hit single to beat Oregon State yesterday for the Wolfpack.
Only has 3 hits on the year, so that one hit was huge. You're right.
Huge.
3 for 15 at the plate this season. There's a comebacker off of Dino, regroups and rolls it over to Heen in the nick of time, and a 1-2-3 second for Dino and the Wahine.
Rainbow Wahine Softball on Spectrum Sports is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii, your Hawaii Honda dealers, and Heineken.
And there you see the entrance to the Rainbow Wahine Softball Stadium. Had a big makeover a year ago, and they did a really nice job. You see the turf now. The infield still dirt, obviously, but
super safe. Which was
netting,
nice. The netting, the padding. It's beautiful. It really is.
Dino coming off a 1-2-3 second inning, so we head to the top of the third. 6-1 Hawaii leads, and Chile Sini, the right fielder, will step in. Takes a strike. Zanini followed by McAllister and Mello.
Saw a couple lefty slappers get called out by the umpires. Of course, that rule a couple seasons ago. You have to have your entire front foot in the batter's box at contact.
Ball hit to the right side. Nakamura over the first.
Which I'm not sure too many players have, but it's really kind of decreased the number of slappers, because for a few years there, slappers were about 3 feet out of the box at contact. And, we used to talk about that sitting here, and so they changed the rule. It used to be part of your foot. Yeah, you have to have your entire foot on the inside of the batter's box, and of course, where really is that, Scott? Because
it disappears.
Yeah, it disappears. But they have been making some calls, and it's kind of interesting. When they first started slap hitting 100 years ago, when I was younger, you used to back up in the batter's box because you had to stay in it. I mean, that's what the box is for, right? That's why
it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Ball hit on the right side again. Nakamura underhands it to Heen. Back-to-back 4-3 putouts by Dino. And that's 5 in a row now put down by the sophomore.
Yeah, so it wasn't as big of an advantage because you were back in the box and you moved forward in the box and made contact. But when they started standing, squared up to the plate and moving out of the box. So a lot of people don't like that rule. They think it's taken some of the offense out of the game.
Strike down to Sierra Mello. That's third in the order. The second baseman singled and scored the game's first run in the top of the first inning. Pitch outside.
That sun right in that little top of the pitching circle, or top of the pitching rubber. Watch Izzy Dino. Glad she has those glasses on.
Well, that's because she's 6'2".
Right there. That's right. That would be right off the crown of your head. That would
if I was out
the
there,
outfield for the camera.
Sun wouldn't bother me any. There you get a good look at the sun. It's slowly beginning to set in the west.
You know, I tried a little bit to play in sun. I couldn't play in glasses. It was just, I don't know if, ask Candace if she ever tried that as a center fielder, but you have to get used. You really take some getting used to. I would assume that Dino's done that earlier in her career, but
I know some people do like having those kind of glasses on to pick up the ball better in the sun, but the sun's slowly going down, and there's
they
ball
used to
4.
flip them up in baseball? They used to
have
do that.
They used to
Remember
have the
that?
flips, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, old Scott. Yeah.
Speak for yourself,
Used to
Laurie.
come on, right? They did. They used to, now,
Oh, sure.
you know, they got the cool Oakleys.
That they even wear sometimes for night games, some of the guys, right? So base runner aboard with 2 away here in the 3rd inning, and the cleanup hitter, Ashley Salausa, the left fielder.
Got to be careful here. Salausa's swinging it well, and Dino, a couple balls down in the zone. So she's got to come up to get the call. You just got to be careful. And Salausa can go to left field. Good power alley. Got opposite field power.
That walk, by the way, to Mello, the first walk issued by Dino, has yet to strike a batter out. 1-0. Hit over to second. Nakamura to first, and all 3 putouts. 4-3. And for the Wolfpack, a runner, but that's it. We'll head to the home half of the 3rd. Third 3 here in Manoa. 6 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Hawaii. A run on 4 hits, and a single error for the Wolfpack of Nevada. And there you see Izzy Dino beginning her 4th inning of work. Found herself in a bit of trouble back in the 1st inning, but pitched herself out of trouble, only giving up 1 run. Set down the order in the 2nd and only faced 4 batters in the 3rd inning. So she seems to be kind of in a groove now, Lori.
Yeah, a really methodical pitcher. Always see her. She's the first one out on the field, out of the dugout, sprints out to the field in the pitching circle, goes through her routine. Very methodical.
Nelly Tausinga, first pitch swinging. The 3rd baseman. So 5, 6, and 7 in the order, followed by Lauren Gutierrez and Charlie McClendon. The thing that's interesting about Nevada, the various numbers. You have players with 51, 55, 62, 88 was the starting pitcher. Kraft, 77 also on their roster.
Now, my experience with that a little bit is if you ask the kids, it's, you know, my dad's O-line number. You know, a lot of times there's obviously a little bit of reason to the rhyme, but we see a lot more of that now than we ever did. Because it used to be you wanted 7, 12, 8, right? Those were the baseball, softball numbers.
Numbers started by the position you played. When everything first started, baseball, softball, it was by the position you played. 2-1 the pitch. Time foul. So if you were a second baseman, you were number 4. Not the case anymore. Did you have a specific number when you played?
Well, it's funny. Pal and I used to talk about that. I wore 13 for a long time because that was just my birthday. I was born on Friday the 13th, so I got so tired of hearing about it that yeah. So actually, Pal and I laugh about that because he used to wear that number too.
Ball hitting the air out towards right, drifting back Gandia Mack, and she's there to make the catch.
Well, traveled a little bit. The wind kind of died, and it drifted off the bat of Tausinga, and on her horse out there is Gandia Mack.
Back to her left.
It's kind of a weird corner over there. You know, they keep that tarp out there and get a little wind. Usually, of course, off the right-handers, it skates towards the foul line.
Lauren Gutierrez now the batter. The shortstop singled in a run in the 1st inning. There's that tarp. Let's hope we don't see that thing
nobody wants
in use tonight.
In any way, you know, either by Gandia Mack out there and
yes, that's true.
Or by them having to get it out.
Well, you know, they've been talking about weather issues this weekend, if you watch the local news channels.
I try to stay away from that during broadcast.
That's probably a good idea. I mean, the wind part has come true, but knock on wood, we haven't had the rain yet. That pitch misses down to Gutierrez.
Yeah, we've had some weird squalls, though, this week. It's been raining quite a bit out on the east side a little bit. Not as much in Manoa. Usually it's the opposite.
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
Manoa it's doused.
The 3-0 pitch. That one catches strike zone.
Good pitch there. Breaking ball to the right-hander coming across the plate. Izzy Dino works fast, too. Easy to play behind.
She pitched well last week against Iowa.
She did, yeah. I think that was her best outing.
Fly ball out to right, coming across Gandia Mack. Second fly out of the inning.
So starting to work on the outside part of the plate. Talked about Kali'i Noe behind the dish, calls her own game. Dino will shake her off here and there. They'll time out and talk about it, but sort of learning to work with each other is this battery with Callie Heen, the other catcher at first base.
Well, it's interesting. You got a freshman catcher and only a sophomore pitcher. Yeah, Bob Coolin has confidence enough in both of them to let them call their own game.
Yeah, he does. He's got a couple of, I've seen so many times here in this program. He's got a couple more left-handed catchers that he signed last season coming in. So that's always kind of fun to watch. Kayla Wartner, of course, one of the ones that comes to mind. And
we had about a 6 to 7 year stretch of left-handed catchers. Yeah.
I don't know if Kayla was the last one, but yeah.
I think she might have been. 3 balls and no strikes now.
No, I think
McClendon.
Klebenstein, I think.
Was she after?
Yeah, I think she was a little after. But anyway, it's always kind of fun to talk about. But I don't know, how many more lefties are in the lineup. Of course, it didn't really make a big difference because you have so many lefties in the softball lineups that you will see a few more snap throws to first base from the lefties.
There's the old automatic strike. So 3 balls and 1 strike, 2 away, bases empty. Johnny McClendon, the first baseman, 0 for 1. Pops that one up in the air and right, coming over near the line. Nobody can get to it. Gandia Mack, the closest. Nakamura, the second baseman, ventured over there as well.
So really sitting on the outside part of the plate. We saw Maya Nakamura in that last inning make all 3 outs at second base. A couple fly balls in this inning to the right fielder, Gandia Mack. So you see if the Wolfpack starts sort of jumping on that, figuring out what's going on.
Payoff pitch. That's past the diving Ramos into left field for a base hit. So the first hit since the first inning from Nevada, 2-out single to left by McClendon, and they keep the inning alive.
Take a look at this. I thought it looked like it might have been playable. Ramos pulled in a little bit, at third base, right? Given you had the 2-out situation just under her glove. So base hit.
Hits are even at 5, but the runs are what counts. Here is Haley Berta, the catcher. And Dino fires a fastball for a strike. Berta 0 for 1, grounded out to short. Back in the second inning. Dino working quickly. Fires a fastball. That time handled by Ramos. Goes to first. Inning over. So Hawaii still leads 6-1 as we head to the home half of the 4th inning. All right, let's check out the first Hawaiian Bank top 3, and it is Big West home runs. And 2 to 3 from the University of Hawaii. You can make that a 6 now for Callie Heen, so she's tied with her teammate Navai Kaupe with 6. And Hawaii showing their muscle here in this one. We're in the top of the 5th inning. Keep in mind, 8-run rule. And Hawaii has a chance of going to get 3 clean outs here in the 5th inning to have a run rule victory over Nevada. So it's 9-1 and 2 in the order. Liu, Sinini, and McAllister. Callie Heen now also ties Kate Robinson in 4th place in career home runs with 44, the great Kate Robinson.
The great Kelly Majum up there with 72. Jessica Iwata in our booth at number 2 with 55. So
it'll be a long time before anybody gets up to number 1, I think, with Kelly Majum. Had the 30 home run season for freshman year. There's a swing and a miss to Liu. Liu 0 for 1, bounced back to Dino, who then rolled the ball over to first base to get the out.
Anyway.
Back in the second inning.
Yep. You see a fair amount of pitchers use that underhand delivery to make outs. It's not ideal, but it works.
Whatever works, right? You take what you can get. 9 runs, 7 hits, no errors for Hawaii. A run on 5 hits and an error for Nevada.
I also think it's kind of nice to have Callie Heen in that infield, kind of give you a leadership spot over there.
Ball hit into the left field. Now drop in front of Soma for a leadoff single. let's take a look at the Kaiser Permanente K count for Hawaii's pitchers, and that's a pretty easy one. Goose egg, no strikeouts. But right now, Izzy Dino doesn't really need to strike out anybody. She's given up 5 hits. 4 of those came in the first inning. She has walked a batter.
Yeah, she's been really good that way. Came into this with 22 strikeouts and just 9 base on balls, and following the footsteps of Brittany Hitchcock.
Zanini is the batter.
Hitchcock walks over her career.
Well, she
probably
had
the lowest of any ace I've seen in a long time.
She had that one year. I think she was leading the country at one time.
For a while.
Zanini, 1 for 2, had an infield single to start the ball game.
Yeah, Sanini, nice wheels in that leadoff spot back at the top of this lineup.
So 2 balls and no strikes. Next pitch catches the outside corner.
Much like Hawaii, not a big base stealing team. 8 of 10 coming in, efficient.
So after this one, we'll have the second game of the doubleheader. Hawaii taking on Oregon State. There's a high chopper over the circle. Cowboys only played a first. Is not in time. Getting out the throw, Sanini.
Sanini.
Infield single for her. Back-to-back singles to start the 5th inning for the Wolfpack.
And nothing Calpe can do there. Sometimes, you know, your best play there is faking a throw and trying to backdoor to second base, honestly, because that such a high hop in that infield, those kind of wheels. You just can't touch them.
Now here's Sedaria McAllister, first team All Mountain West Conference a year ago. 0 for 2 in this one.
4 of these Nevada hits have been infield hits, Scott. Not a whole lot in the outfield.
McAllister with 2 aboard. Works away, misses. I think this is a situation where you're Bob Cooley, you want to see her put them away. You have an 8-run lead in the 5th inning. Go out there, throw strikes, let your defense play behind you. And that one is roped into left field. That's going to go over the head of Soma. Coming in is Lou. She will score. They'll hold up the runner at third. Sanini, and over at second base with an RBI double is McAllister. And it's now a 9-2 ball game.
Felt like Bree Soma was a little shallow on that play, Scott. McAllister, it's pretty good power, a little bit better size than the first couple of hitters in this inning. So good power there. You play him in when you have a left-handed hitter. That's sort of the classic defensive alignment in left field. Soma was in, and McAllister made her pay.
Well, with that run, we know for sure we'll have a bottom of the 5th inning now. But I think more importantly for Bob Cooley and the Rainbow Wahine is trying to get out of this jam as you see activity in the Hawaii bullpen.
That's the freshman Jetta Nana, and he talked about how he loves the fact that she throws strikes. Exactly what you're talking about, and pretty fearless. I mean, she comes in and throws around the plate.
Sierra Mello now the batter.
Really looking for that sort of number 3 or maybe somebody to push these guys a little bit. It may be Nana and Emily Klee, the lefty. I see her more of a complimentary sort of relief type pitcher because she looks so different than the rest of the staff.
Well, also Bob Cooley was saying that he's never had this many pitchers on his roster.
Yeah.
He's kind of set it up where you have starters, middle relievers, and closers. At least that was the idea going into the season. Hasn't really worked out that well.
And it's hard to evaluate when they don't get time in games, right?
Check swing, coming underhanded by Dino. The run will come in from third and score. So a ground out 1-3 by Mello, but scoring is Sanini. And it's now a 9-3 ball game. So give the RBI to Mello. Going over to third base was McAllister. Here's Salosa. Salosa, the left fielder. That's the straight ball.
Kind of slowing her swing down a little bit. I don't remember seeing her square to hit last night, but she can still come back and hit with power from that stance. She's trying to get some timing here.
That one up and out of play. So the Wolfpack now have more hits than Hawaii, 8-7. Hawaii's hits have meant a little bit more in this one, up 9-3. So Ashley Salausa, the cleanup hitter out of Lele Hua, takes a big cut of that one and comes up empty, and that's the first strikeout of the game for Dino. A big one right there.
Yeah, you're exactly right, off a good hitter. These two both can get this out of the ballpark. You see, that's just a fantastic flip change. Kali'inoi staying down on that pitch. That was nasty.
And Mele Tausinga, the third baseman, 0 for 2 tonight. And Dino looks like she has a little more giddy up on that fastball after that circle visit by her infielders.
Circle visit, and you feel a little something going on in the bullpen. It stands to speed your arm up, Scott.
No question.
Well, she's throwing very well in this game. A couple infield hits of speed. And then the ball hit over the left fielder's head and McAllister. So nice little rally here by the Wolfpack.
So it's a ball and 2 strikes now to Tausinga. Should she get aboard, Gutierrez on deck. 2 runs across here in the 5th inning from Nevada. But Hawaii still leads 9-3. Dino gets the sign from Kali'inoi. A 1-2. This is inside.
So starting to come inside. We saw a lot of those flares the past couple of innings, really working the outside part of the plate. Looks like Kali'inoi's trying to bring Dino inside.
Deuce is wild. The pitch. Staying alive, Tausinga. It's been a long day for Nevada. They played in the noon game earlier today. Beat Seattle University.
Yeah, I don't think they're leaving till Monday. I think they're certainly enjoying being out here. Both teams, Oregon State as well. Pretty cold in Reno and Corvallis.
Yeah, a lot colder than here, that's for sure. Well, it feels a little chillier tonight.
It does.
By our standards.
I feel like it's been chilly.
It has been. I've had to get up in the morning and scrape the ice off the windshield a couple of times lately.
The wore socks to bed a couple times last month. You see the Oregon State Beavers and had the orange jerseys on earlier and switch over to the black.
So we'll try it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. The pitch. Line foul. Almost took out the runner at third, McAllister.
He's got the umpire at third. Yeah, look alive. In foul territory. Josh Taylor, he almost took one in the noggin as well.
Yeah, there were a trifecta of folks in foul territory.
Yes.
Pretty close to that one. The pitch. Popped foul. Gandia Mack can't get there in time. Good at bat so far by Tausinga. Just staying alive, keeping her at bat.
And fighting some good pitches off.
Yeah.
That was a good pitch. Good break. Late action there by Dino on the outside part of the plate. Strong hands by Tausinga. Could foul that stuff off late.
And now the count goes full.
Izzy Dino wanted that call. A little self-talk on the backside of the pitching circle.
I also think she was hoping Tausinga would chase.
Yeah.
Good discipline by the batter. You see a split screen. Dino. The pitch into right field. Going back near the line is Gandia Mack to make the grab. But 2 runs come across from Nevada. As we head to the bottom of the 5th, it's 9-3 Hawaii. Back at the Rainbow Wahine Softball Stadium on a beautiful Friday night. Izzy Dino about ready to begin her 6th inning of work. Dino threw 5 3 runs on 8 hits, a walk, and a strikeout so far. And she'll face 6, 7, and 8 in the order. Gutierrez, McClendon, and Berta. 9-3 Hawaii. Wolfpack getting a pair of runs in the top of the 5th inning to keep this one from being a run rule, at least as of yet.
A nice shot playing a little small ball with the first couple hitters.
First pitch, ball hit the 3rd. Is it fair? They say it is.
Looked fair.
I think the batter, Gutierrez, thought it was foul, so 5-3 to put out Ramos over to Heen. She kind of hesitated, Gutierrez. Ramos bobbled it, but got it over to Heen because Gutierrez really didn't come out of the box.
Yeah, nice job by Ramos just to sort of listen for the whistle, if you will, and no call there, and played through it. Ends up being an easy one. Dino will take that all day.
Charlie McClendon, the batter, the first baseman.
Karen Ishimura, of course, our favorite sports information
The
director
best
up
softball
here,
SID in America.
just handed me the list of players, the Aussies that played at University of Hawaii in the Olympics. Stacy Porter, the oldest, the eldest. Justine Smetters, who threw here. Claire Warwick, who played third base. Kaya Parnaby, our favorite lefty pitcher, and Rachel Lack, who played a few years here. All play for the Aussie Peppers, that is the pro team there. But that's amazing. 5 former Wahine.
Ball in the air coming over the center fielder Rossi, and quickly 2 away. But what has happened to that Australian pipeline the last couple of years?
So that pipeline goes a lot of different places.
It does now,
you know,
right?
They really do. And Bob Coolin still gets over there a lot, but it's a little trickier now. And there's like anything. Even with basketball, there's, we still get a fair amount of those. Rain's starting to come down here, Scott.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Okay, you're right. Watch your mouth.
We got another game to call after this one.
Yes, you're right.
Here's Haley Berta, the catcher.
Just keeping the field in order.
Bouncy ball left side. Ramos across the diamond, and a 1-2-3-6 for Izzy Dino. 9-3 Hawaii as we hit to the last of the 6th.